Welcome back to the Journeyman Cave, everybody. This is round 36 and another one of our catch-up or recap episodes that we like to do at the end of every batch of interviews. So obviously with me as always, Mr. Mark Shakespeare, how are you doing?
Yes, we're always good, mate, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
You as well. What's been happening over the weeks and months of this last series that we've been doing that we need to inform people? I mean, main one that sticks out for me is you've got your seconds licence.
Yes, we're there, mate. When we had his first show, didn't we, a week or so ago with Jake Pollard? And it all went well.
Went down to Birmingham, didn't we?
Yeah, Edgbaston wanted it, some leisure centre wanted it. Luckily, everyone come out safe, and it was good to see Carl Greaves down there as well.
Yes.
And yeah, it's good. It's nice to be involved with the away corner, and I'm always there for them to know that, and I'm sure I'll be out a few times. So if you do see me or Chris at any shows, feel free to come over and say hi. You know, we're very approachable and we're just normal guys like you, and it'd be good to speak to you all.
Yeah, so how did you find it?
You know, I doubt myself a lot, Chris, you know that. But I passed it, you know, pretty comfortably. But, you know, it was tough. But, you know, you have to do these things and you have to learn the right way, don't you? And now I've passed the seconds course, which I thoroughly enjoyed, including the first aid course. We'll on to bigger and better things now. And obviously, I'm an older learner, so I'm going to have to learn a bit more on the job. But I'm looking forward to it moving forward, mate.
And how about that first night? Stood in Jake's corner.
Nerves went as soon as I got there, mate. Yeah. Because my job, I just wanted to make sure that as soon as I had them nerves had gone, when Jake were in that ring, I had to concentrate on Jake. Because at the end of the day, my job is to make them feel calm. If I'm panicking, then they may be panic as well. So it's vital that I stay calm. And, you know, I learned a few tricks at trade over the years, and, you know, sticking the old Vaseline on the hands ready for the next round. I think he was most Vaselined up guy I've ever seen, to be honest, when I'd done with him.
Right sheen on him.
He did.
So it were a good night, apart from that back door being open, now we're freezing.
Oh, yeah. Well, it went from being absolutely freezing downstairs to upstairs with heating on, didn't we?
It were like a sauna. I couldn't stay. That's why I came back down. I thought I'll go down to the bar, and then they got door open, and I was like, chuffing eggs. No middle ground here. Freezing or boiling, but yeah, it were a decent night, and hopefully many more to come.
Yeah, and also as well, I'd like to mention Nabil as well.
Oh, of course, Nabil come with us.
Finally got to meet Nabil,
didn't we? Well, it got to, we were getting picked up in the afternoon, and you phoned me and said, you never believe it, Nabil's just had his fight cancelled, because they were both him and obviously Jake supposed to be fighting on the same bill. You would have been in corner twice that night. So I felt sorry for you more than anything, but poor Nabil, they were already on the way, weren't they?
And
he got
obviously,
a phone call.
We're on his way down, and we're his driver, and obviously it was tough. But that's boxing, and that's what happens when you're fighting on the road, isn't it?
Yeah.
But like you said, we met a few good people over there, and it's all learning experience, mate, moving forward, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll do it again soon, hopefully. I know we also like to, in these little catch-up episodes, like to talk about who's been doing what, shall we say, on the road. A few people that, you know, might particularly stand out to you. So anybody that's been up to much lately?
Well, I think we're going to have to start off with, there's no doubt about it, we've got to start off with Dale Arrowsmith, haven't we?
Yes, definitely.
A true warrior, one of the best in the game, and I'd like to congratulate him on getting that 100th fight up a couple of weeks ago, and he got a win, didn't he, as well?
Won on his 100th.
He did.
You like to see it.
And he's still going strong. I've had a couple of messages with him since, and he's still carrying on, and he wants to carry on doing it, and he's one of the best in the game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I think we had to give him a shout-out, because to get to 100 fights, it takes some doing, doesn't it?
I mean, we'd have loved to have gone, wouldn't we? But it so happened to drop on that night when you were in Jake's corner. So
yeah, I'd also like to apologise to Harry Matthews, because we should have been going to see Harry Matthews as well. So everything just seemed to snowball into one on that day, didn't it?
It did. They all come at once.
But yeah, congratulations, Dale. And Harry, I know it was only his 98th, but that 100 will come, mate. Your time will come.
Yes, and we will be there.
We most certainly will be, mate.
So, and as regards, let's say, results, any good results been happening lately?
Yeah, like we always do, Scarfe, we like to get 2 or 3 people mentioned on every catch-up episode. I try and like to get a few different ones in as we go through the year. And there's 2 guys over the summer who stood out for me. The first one I say is definitely Daryl Tapfuma. He's been on fire. 2 wins this year. He's definitely been the standout, and a good knockout as well. You know what I mean? I think he's definitely been the one that stood out for me since his last catch-up episode, and well done for Daryl. I know he's not out until December, so maybe his phone stopped ringing a little bit.
Yeah, probably.
So well done to Daryl. You know, he's been the one on form since his last catch-up. And also, as well, I'd like to shout out who's really improving as well. I know he struggles a bit, you know, trying to find fights with his weight. Is Ryan Lebon as well. He's had 2 draws, including a good one on Channel 5 Live as well that I watched.
Yeah.
And he's improving all the time. And he also got a draw last weekend. And, you know, it's good to see, because I think the weight that he's at, there's quite a bit of a gap between the 2 weights, and I think he's the one who was in the middle.
Right.
So he just struggled to find that perfect weight. So it's an even bigger achievement for him to go on road and get these 2 results that he has done. So well done to you, Ryan, on that, mate, as well. 2 good, solid draws you've got there, mate. And long may and continue. Keep up the good work, mate.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And anybody else, or shall we move on to the catch-up, recap?
Let's do it, mate. Let's move on.
You know, I will say every series, and no doubt we will in future, but there was something about this series. I don't know if it was the mix of different sort of interviewees, you know, guests that we had. I mean, but straight away, kicking off with Tony Booth. Nothing. We had nobody like that, you know, especially that record. And we said it at the time. We had nobody like that on the show before. It was something else, and enjoyed it.
Tony was absolutely, you know, he's won $1 million, isn't he? Yeah. He's a great guy, and he brought on along his friend Wim, didn't he, as well? Yeah,
Roy.
Brought Roy on. Wim, who were a great gentleman as well, and it was a pleasure to meet him. And, you know, I can't thank him enough for making the effort. Even though he got lost. Yeah. For once, we didn't get lost. Somebody else got lost. So thanks, Tony. We're not the only ones who'll get lost now.
Some stories and his career and fighting abroad and stuff like that.
Amazing. He's had such a great career, and he's had some ups and downs, and credit for him to where he is today. And I've told him before, I can't keep in touch with everybody, and I try to give people messages, and cause I do try and keep in touch with everyone we get on the show. Do you know what I mean? But it's tough, and the more we do it, it's hard to keep in touch with everybody. And I will eventually, both of us, go over and see Tony and all at some point.
Yeah.
I think it's only fair, because we did say we'd go and see him, and we will do. But we haven't forgot about anybody, and if you need to send us a message, just do it, guys. We're always here for you. Anybody who'll be not sure, or anybody who hasn't wants to come on, just get in touch.
Yeah. If we could be in 15 places at once, we'd do it, wouldn't we?
Do you know what? I think if we could afford to pay people, we could send 3 or 4 a week.
Yeah, that's true.
With the people. We've got some good guys lined up as well.
We have. Well, like you say, a list as long as arm. It's finding the time. You know, we've got lives, they've got lives, we all live in different places.
We do, mate.
It's not like making life difficult. But so then we moved on, and second episode in this series, Billy Boyle.
Oh, popular guy with Billy, wasn't he?
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, he got a lot of mentions, and he was very. At first, when he said to me, I met him for a coffee, which I always do with fighters, and he says, "Yeah, now come on." He says, "But I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't think I'll be able to talk. I don't think you'll get much an interview out of me." Well, that was totally wrong, wasn't it, Billy? Because it was a great interview.
It was good value, wasn't it?
And it was good value. And you know what? I think we could have got a bit longer out of him if he wanted to.
I say that about a lot of people, you know. I mean, sometimes we could be there all night.
We most certainly could. But yeah, to say you weren't going to say very much, Billy, it were a cracking episode, and thanks for coming.
It was brilliant. And then we went on his travels down to Birmingham, and actually Walsall this one. And a true legend and a true road warrior, Delroy Spencer. Oh,
absolute, one of my heroes. One of us I've grown up with, journeyman. He were around the time when I was younger. He were out every week. And like you said on the interview we did with him, his bag were always packed. Proper road warrior. And when he got back to me saying they wanted to come on, I was really starstruck, to be quite honest. I know he laughs at me when he says that, but, he's a true legend in my eyes. And I know we've mentioned episode, mentioned it on the intro, and I'm going to mention it again. We need to know where he gets that moisturiser from.
He don't look his age. Like when you realise he's talking to us, and you were fighting back in 80s.
Yeah.
We were children, me and you.
Yeah.
Not just kids, we were children. So yeah, what a boy.
Yeah, it were a great, and thanks for the welcome as well. We made us feel really welcome down there as well. And yeah, well, true legend, and it was great to speak to him. And I think he really enjoyed, he opened up, and it were a good interview, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. And I love his little trips, and like you say, we had the interval where the cat was on the windowsill outside, and kids were gathering, and that there's always something happens, isn't there?
There's always someone who travels, mate.
So, fantastic. So then, after that, we had a bit of a bonus episode because mental health has been brought up many a time, and we thought we talk about it on that episode, but we thought shall we get someone in, a representative from a local branch, which we did. And Steve Fox were kind enough to come and, give us some of his time, just talk about Andy's Man Club, what they do, how they work, all that sort of thing. And I thought that were a good episode. Steve spoke really well, explained everything really well, told you what you can expect. So as we've been saying, in the intros of his recent episodes, if you're struggling at all, please look up your local Andy's Man Club branch. Get yourselves along. They're doing fantastic work. So thanks to Steve for that.
Yeah, and like you say, if we can just help one or two people out by listening to that, that's what it's about, innit? It's there. And mental health is huge, and it's only getting worse times we're in now. So I just thought, like we both said, it were appropriate to get somebody on, and it were, a nice bonus episode for everyone to listen to.
Exactly. And he does his own... his personal training and stuff, so does a bit of boxing, bit of kickboxing. He's done fighting, MMA. Yeah. Where I think he got stretchered out or something daft. He was covered in cuts and bruises. So fair play to the bloke. Then we had another visit, and it was our first. Well, we had two guests. We had Graham Fern, and he brought Mick Sullivan with him.
He did. I think Graham could be his new number one fan. He loves us, and he does Graham. Like we said before on the episode, got him in at the wrong week. Any week other than that, we've had loads of chocolate given to us.
Yeah, how dare we? Had not worked for a week, so he had no samples to bring, did he?
No, shocking. We'll not forgive him for that. But no, another one. Oh, again, we promise we will come and go out for a drink with you, Graham. It was a great episode. Another one I've tried to get on for a while. It's been mentioned. And it was a pleasure to get him on.
Well, Mick came, who his boxing knowledge was impressive.
Very impressive. I know a few people have said before that they've wanted to interview Mick. And obviously, as we said on the episode itself, while he were here, we thought just mic him up, and he really enjoyed it, didn't he?
We just chatted, didn't we? We just talked. We would do a lot of talk of boxing in general.
Yeah.
It weren't your standard interview, shall we say?
No.
Obviously talked to Graham, but then we would bring him. Mick would chip in with, stories about shows he's been to and stuff like that. So
he definitely brought something new to the plate, didn't he? It was a pleasure to have them both on.
Absolutely. And then another one of his trips, we went to Coles Hill, which again sort of Birmingham way, aren't they all? And Andrew Paddy Patterson, our first two-parter.
Yes.
Because that was epic.
It was an epic one. And I think that interview, between the two-parters, had absolutely everything, didn't it? It had all the ups, all the downs. And I think Paddy come out on that and said it was like a bit of therapy for him, and he really enjoyed opening up.
Yeah.
And he made us feel very welcome. A beautiful place down there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a intense episode, and like you said, very long, and we had to make it into a two-parter, and I hope people enjoyed as first two-parter.
Yeah.
And like you said, there were the highs and the lows in there. He's been through a lot on his skateboarding as well, eh?
Yeah, two tricks.
Two tricks, what a name. He even signed the poster, didn't he, as two tricks, didn't he?
He did. Right,
what a guy. Yeah, great episode, really fully enjoyed meeting him.
Well, I'm going to be unconventional here, and we're not going to do who came next. We're going to do round 34 when we had one of Paddy's former opponents, Steve Spence.
Yes. Well, when we got, obviously, when I've been on the phone to Paddy, he got on about this Battle of the Road Warriors. Obviously, if you look at both the records, him and Steve's, they weren't the greatest, and you don't think they're going to be fighting for titles. And obviously, when we'd done the interview with Paddy, we had to get Steve on, didn't we?
Yeah.
Another tough fighter. Many people, I think, have brought their hands on Steve's head.
Yeah.
Made of granite, I think. And yeah, he come down to see us, and he enjoyed it that much. He stayed over, had a few drinks, didn't he?
Booked an hotel room fortnight.
Yeah, and we met him, and I didn't last too long, but I had a few weird Scarfe, didn't I?
You didn't do bad at all, mate. I'll give you credit for that.
But these two went long into the night.
Oof.
But yeah, another good episode, and he's doing well now, and he's back on his feet, and it was great to see him. And like you said, we had to get the second part of the Battle of the Road Warriors in.
I think so, and we potentially see him again. He's thinking of doing something. Maybe not boxing, but we might see him, up to something somewhere.
Yeah, he's definitely in a good place, and he thinks he's got something else to offer. So he's still young enough, and he's still got his looks. So
yeah,
good luck to you,
bloke.
Steve. We'll
Brilliant,
keep an eye out.
Brilliant stuff. So yeah, just to go back then. So the one we just skipped. I mean, we've been after this kid for a while, but Carl Sampson.
Oh, Scarlet Pimpernel, isn't he? How many times have we set this interview up with Mr. Sampson?
It's not me that sets him up, so I won't know.
Yeah, well, I've tried a lot, and obviously, as we know, with Carl, he's a busy person. He's always on that road, isn't he? To say I've been after a T-shirt off of him for over a year, we finally got that.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was well worth the wait.
Yeah.
Absolutely well worth the wait. He's one of the best out there. He'll be around for a long time to come, I think, as well. And I think he's going to be one, he's going to be remembered as a journeyman. He's a great guy, and it was a great interview. And we've got a couple of good questions in there as well from Cass and Lee Conley as well, don't we? Because there's a little bunch out, three of them, isn't there?
Yeah.
Past, present and future. And to get Carl in, was a bit of a big coup for us, really, wasn't it?
And the thing with Carl as well, it's funny because obviously a lot of the people we get in for this show are former boxers, and we're talking in past tense. With Carl, we were, obviously went back over the start of his career, but when we're talking about his current career, he's got another, he could have a few, he's not even 30 yet.
No.
So, this is someone who I guarantee when we get him in for part 2 in a few years' time, maybe, it'll just be like, he's going to have so much to talk about. We're not even have to touch on beginning bits. We've done that. So
yeah, I mean, is he the first active fighter on for quite a while, isn't it?
I think the one before that was Jake Pollard.
Yeah, but great episode. Thoroughly enjoyed having him on the show. It was great to get him in.
And then rounded things off only last week with George Rogers.
Great guy. I know he's been going through a bit of a tough time, and he's come back. I'm looking forward to seeing him going forward. I think there's a lot to come from George, and I think he's going to cause a few upsets along the way. Another one we've been trying to get him for a while, but another busy man. He's been on the road, and he's also set his own business up now, with his mortgage and stuff, hasn't he? Financial
advisor and what have you. So he's got plenty on his plate. And yet again, another one that we could probably get back in a few years and do a full episode again. Is he? I don't even think he's reached 30 yet.
No, I don't think he has. No.
So all being well, him and Carl have got quite a bit of a long career to go yet.
The only thing is, will we survive, Scarfe?
Well, this is it, isn't it?
Well,
what we have been feeling lately.
But yeah, a good way to round it off.
Definitely. So we're already on with Series 5. I'm not going to get anything away just yet, but as always, excited. It just gets better, mate. It's such a learning curve for me, honestly. I loved every minute of this, particularly now I'm editing as well.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. So, shout out to Scarfe for his editing skills.
Well, skills... questionable, but we'll see. No, I'm learning, and I am enjoying it. And like I say, let's keep it going. Let's keep doing these road trips when we can do it, and see what the future brings for the Journeyman Cave.
Well, we'll keep going, mate. We're knocking up towards the half century, aren't we?
That's it. That's all. No, not be long. So
I could just say, like I always say, shout out to all the listeners and all the fighters and everybody else who, help make this show what it is. And like you said before, mate, if anyone does feel a little bit flush and they fancy buying us a coffee, they're more than welcome. Or when I get Scarfe a beer, just go on, follow links. I'm sure you'll find it out. And them T-shirts are selling well, aren't they, mate?
They're doing all right, aren't they? It's too many people to thank, but, as you said, the listeners, the fighters, Rhythm Inc., Harry, he lets us in, comes out of his way to open doors for us, only bless him, and, he's a busy bloke himself. So just... we won't be able to do it without him.
No, it's part of the team, really, mate.
Definitely. Again, also producers Ryan, Jim, they do it off their own backs, and squeeze it in when they can. Obviously, I've been taking up a little bit more recently, but if I know that if I turn around and said I need some help, they'd be there and they'd do it. They'd help me out. And like Mark says, if you want to support the show, please follow the links in our socials and in the description notes. Get you sent a T-shirt, but we'd ask for no more. If you can't afford that, give us a share. That's worth just as much to us.
It most certainly is, mate. It's massive. Every share, like we keep mentioning it, like Brock and Records, but every share and follow means world to us, doesn't it?
Exactly. We just want to reach as many ears as we can. I think these stories are worth listening to.
They most certainly are, mate, and we've got more to come.
Definitely. So I'll see you, dear listener, and you, Mr. Shakespeare, in Series 5.
Yeah, and see you all soon, guys.